Full Throttle Hearts. Act 1, Different Roads. The city of Ashport never truly rested. When the sun went down, engines roared through abandoned industrial districts. When morning arrived, stadiums echoed with cheering crowds. Two riders ruled completely different worlds. One lived in the shadows, the other in the spotlight. Neither expected their story to begin with a cup of coffee. 26-year-old Lena Moretti leaned aggressively into another corner, her customized red Ducati skimming inches above the pavement. Police lights reflected off rain-soaked streets behind her. Another rider tried forcing her into a guardrail. She twisted the throttle. The Ducati screamed. She slipped through a gap barely wider than her handlebars and crossed the finish line first. Cheers erupted. Stacks of cash exchanged hands. Someone slapped her shoulder. "You've still got the fastest hands in the city." She removed her helmet, revealing long black hair tied into a messy ponytail and bright green eyes. "I'm done for tonight." "Already?" She shrugged. "I need coffee." The group laughed. "You risk prison every weekend because you're addicted to espresso." "It's not addiction." She smirked. "It's standards." Across town, 28-year-old Jake Carter soared nearly 40 feet through the air during the National Motocross Championship. The crowd collectively held its breath. Backflip. Perfect landing. Another jump. Another flawless finish. The checkered flag waved. Jake won. Again. His mechanic rushed over. 3 championships. Jake accepted the trophy. Then immediately asked, "Know anywhere that serves good Ethiopian beans?" His manager sighed. "I swear you care more about coffee than trophies." Jake grinned. "Trophies don't smell like freshly roasted beans." The Daily Grind Café. By 8 in the morning, every table was occupied. Every seat, except one. Jake entered carrying his motocross helmet beneath one arm. Seconds later, Lena walked inside, wearing a black leather riding jacket. They reached the last empty chair at exactly the same time. Jake smiled. "Looks like we have excellent taste." Lena raised an eyebrow. "In chairs. In coffee." The barista chuckled. "Oh, this is going to be fun." Jake studied the menu. "Ethiopian pour-over today?" Lena nodded. "Natural process." He smiled. "You think it'll have a fruity finish?" She smelled the freshly ground beans. "Citrus." Jake leaned closer. "Go on." "Dark chocolate." "And jasmine." He blinked. "Okay." She folded her arms. "What?" "I'm impressed." "You should be." The barista approached. "The usual?" Jake answered first. "Double ristretto." Lena answered immediately afterward. "Double ristretto." Jake continued. "Ethiopian." "So do I." 28-second extraction. "So do I." "No sugar." "No sugar." "Oat milk on the side." The barista sighed dramatically. "You two are either soulmates." He grabbed 2 cups. "Or my most exhausting customers." With nowhere else to sit, they shared the table. "You ride?" Jake asked. Lena glanced toward her gloves. "They give it away?" "A little." "You," he smiled. "Motocross." She recognized him immediately. National champion. Television commercials. Magazine covers. She simply nodded. "Nice. What do you ride?" "A Ducati." His eyes widened. "Really? Customize. I'd love to see it." "Maybe." "What track?" She hesitated. "Different kind." Before he could ask, she stood. "See you around." She slipped on her helmet, started the Ducati, and disappeared into traffic. Jake watched until she vanished. I definitely need to meet her again." Act 2, Coffee and Curves. Coffee slowly became routine. Almost every morning. Same cafe. Same table. Different arguments. "You oversteam your milk." "I absolutely do not." "You absolutely do." "I measured it." "With what?" "A thermometer." She laughed. "You carry a thermometer?" "I carry 2. "You are such a nerd." Another morning. Latte art competition. Jake carefully poured. The result looked almost like a swan. Lena poured hers. A perfect dragon. Jake stared. How? I've practiced. You practiced badly. The barista nearly dropped a mug laughing. Weeks passed. Coffee turned into breakfast. Breakfast turned into conversations. Conversations turned into smiles. Neither admitted they looked forward to seeing the other. The dirt track. Jake finally asked, "Want to ride somewhere different?" She shrugged. Sure. He brought her to his motocross practice course. Rolling hills. Mud. Jumps. Wide open trails. She looked around. Where's the pavement? There isn't any. I don't trust dirt. Dirt is friendly. Dirt is literally dirt. 5 minutes later, she attempted her first jump. The motorcycle landed sideways, straight into a hay bale. Jake burst into laughter. You okay? She slowly climbed out, covered head to toe in straw. Without saying a word, she picked up a handful of dirt and threw it directly into his chest. Oh, he laughed harder. You started this. Soon, they were racing through muddy trails together. Jake taught her how to lean on loose surfaces. She taught him how to power slide around corners. By sunset, both were covered in mud. Neither cared. The secret. Later. Coffee again. Jake finally asked. So, she looked up. Where exactly do you race? She hesitated. Night races. What league? No league. He paused. Illegal? She slowly nodded. Silence. Then, I've always wanted to see one. She nearly choked on her espresso. You what? They look incredible. You could get arrested. So could you. Fair. The underground café. That weekend, Jake stood hidden among hundreds of spectators. Engines echoed through abandoned warehouses. Cash changed hands. Mobsters watched every racer. He spotted Lena. Helmet on, visor down, confident as ever. The race began. She dominated every corner. Until one competitor slammed into her rear tire. The Ducati wobbled. Concrete barriers rushed closer. Jake reacted instantly. He jumped onto his dirt bike, cut through an alley, spotted an unfinished construction ramp. He launched. The dirt bike flew over scaffolding, landed beside Lena. She looked over. What are you doing here? Helping. You're insane. I've been told that. Together they escaped into the maze of city streets. The truth. Hours later, they parked beside a quiet overlook. Neither spoke for several minutes. Finally, Lena sighed. My family's in the mob. Jake looked toward the city lights. I figured something was wrong. I transport things. What kind? The kind you don't ask about. He nodded. So. She looked away. I'm trying to leave. You don't know how. A small smile appeared. You always finish my sentences. I've had practice. Act 3. Full throttle. The following week, Lena received one final assignment. Deliver a locked briefcase. Simple. Until she accidentally opened it. Inside, documents, evidence, false convictions, bribes, names, lives that would be destroyed. She closed it immediately. No, instead of delivering it, she stole it. Within minutes, the mob realized. Every motorcycle in their garage started simultaneously. They were coming. The chase. Jake didn't hesitate. I'm coming. You don't have to. I know. He put on his helmet. But I am. The chase exploded across the city. Downtown traffic, parking garages, tight alleyways, motorcycles weaving between cars. Jake launched off staircases. Lena squeezed through impossible gaps. Mob riders closed in. They escaped through an abandoned rail yard, jumped broken tracks, then into the surrounding forest. Jake smiled. My turn. His motocross experience finally shined. Hidden trails, steep climbs, impossible shortcuts. The pursuers struggled. Jake and Lena disappeared, only to emerge at an unfinished suspension bridge. Unfortunately, they were trapped. Mob motorcycles surrounded both ends. Final confrontation. Lena's uncle stepped forward. You belong with us. She tightened her grip on the briefcase. Jake quietly moved beside her. You don't. She smiled. No. She looked at Jake. I don't. Above them, a television news helicopter hovered, reporting on the pursuit. She grinned. Jake suddenly understood. Oh. She swung the briefcase and threw it, not into the river, straight toward the helicopter. The pilot caught it against the landing skid. Seconds later, police helicopters filled the sky. Sirens echoed across the bridge. The mob scattered in every direction. Within hours, the evidence was broadcast nationwide. The organization collapsed. Lena was finally free. Epilogue. 6 months later, a brand new storefront opened near the edge of town. Full Throttle Coffee. Half specialty coffee shop. Half motorcycle museum. Photographs of famous races line the walls. Vintage helmets hung from the ceiling. Every espresso machine gleamed like polished chrome. Jake now taught motocross clinics at a nearby training park. Lena occasionally competed in legal professional road racing events. Every morning, the exact same argument continued. You ground these beans too fine. I absolutely did not. You absolutely did. Taste it first. She took one sip. It's almost as good as mine. Jake laughed. You know. He leaned on the counter. That's basically your way of saying I love you. She smiled. Don't get used to hearing it. She leaned over the counter and kissed him. The customers applauded. The barista rang a tiny espresso bell. I've been waiting months for that. Everyone laughed. Outside, their motorcycles waited side by side. Jake climbed onto his dirt bike. Lena mounted her Ducati. Different machines. Different paths. Same destination. Their engines roared to life. Together, they rode toward the mountains beneath a rising sun, leaving behind a dangerous past in favor of a future fueled by freedom, laughter, and exceptional coffee. The end.